Hey all, this
Nice.
is 91st Bitcoin Core app call. We have few updates regarding testing the prototypes for MVP flows, and Michael has also a showcase of future idea for test transactions. Uh, yeah, I don't know, John, if you have anything to lecture or anything you need from us.
No, not at the moment, but I'm looking through this Figma right now too. So I think it's good to go through this.
You want to go through the Figma for Create Wallet, like together?
No, the receive that Michael had mentioned.
Ah, yeah, sure.
With what should we start? Should we start with the prototype? I think that's going to be faster, probably.
Yeah. So I will just share a screen and then I wonder if this be recorded, but when I share screen, I probably yeah. And then we can go through the prototype quickly. It's not this far. I have too many Bitcoin Core files from me, from Christoph, from the different prototypes. Yeah, it's this one. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so the scenario is that the user starts with empty wallet, but it's synced, so we don't test any. The scenario is that it's already synced and they start with empty wallet and they want to receive a payment for pizza, right? So the flow goes like this. They go to receive, then they have the screen, they start filling it with amount, label, messages, then they continue. Then there's a payment request. And then they just need to either close it or click share or copy, and it just assumes the payer pays the request. And then it goes back to activity screen. In a few seconds, there's a payment, and then in 10 seconds, it's confirmed. So in that moment, we can just ask the user to speak their mind, thinking out loud how they understand what's happening. And then we just instruct them to click, and when they click, there's this info that many months have passed. You have used this wallet intensively. Now you need to find transaction ID of this pizza payment that the user just made. They click once again, and they have wallet full of activity. That this payment is not here, so they need to click search transactions, and yeah, like type the label basically, or part of the label. Then it shows all payments of pizza in label, and the first one, that was the first payment they received in this wallet, so they click the first one. Yeah, and the goal was to find transaction ID, which is here under details. And that will be the end of the flow. What do you think of this flow, Johnny?
No, it looks sharp. This is kind of silly, but the one thing I keep thinking about when looking at the activity screen is what scrolling behavior might look like.
I think there's no scrolling there, this pagination.
So say they resize the screen up a little bit. Does the sort of the frame with the list, is that scroll up and down, or?
That's a good question. I think, I'm not sure how it behaves right now, but isn't it like kind of fixed size? Like you cannot make it bigger?
No, you can resize it. It has a minimum, but you can resize it to.
And then when you resize the nav bar, the left element goes to the end and the right goes to the end, or it's
Yeah.
okay.
So I guess the main thing is sort of like, is the number of items that appear fixed or not? When I look at it, my intuition says that it's fixed. Like, I don't know how many there are there, 20 or 25. And then, everything just adapts around that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you resize it vertically, I don't know if that's technically possible, but we could, just fill the vertical space. So you would have fewer pages. Let's say you have 100 transactions, and by default you have 10 transactions per page. But if you then go full screen, then we could fit 15 on them, or 20 even, and you would only have 5 pages. But I don't know if that's
won't that be
possible?
super difficult to implement? Like when you resize the window, the number of pages changes. I think that's
the page thing gets pretty complicated, and it can get quite confusing too for the user.
So I would say probably let's just keep it fixed.
Yeah, that's what my gut said too, was just like whatever that is, 20 or 25, just keep it fixed at that and adjust the window around that.
Yeah.
I would also not. I think we have a max width, right, for this. I think it's 600.
Yeah.
600 pixels.
Yeah, it varies. Some are 600, some are 450.
Yeah.
Based on the content, but yeah.
Good. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to spread it, across 1200 pixels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would even say even the navbar.
Yeah.
I would probably block the max width of navbar at some point. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how this builds out. It's possible that we just end up with a maximum size this can be, right? Because it doesn't really make sense for the UI to expand forever.
Yeah, because the elements will be just so spread, especially like if you have wide monitor. They'll be on the other side of the screen, which is, I don't think it's ideal. It's better you can expand but block at some point.
Yeah, we'll play with it. I'm not going to add that restriction or anything yet, but
it's not that important.
The main thing was how the pages interact when you grow it. So we'll keep it fixed and we'll go with that for our first iteration.
One thing, the payment requests also have these details. So if you create one, you click details, there are some details. And also, there's request history. If there is request history, because at the empty wallet, there's no button. If there is a history of payment requests, then it's displayed. No,
you're not sharing your screen anymore, but I think we'll get to it anyway.
Let me share quickly.
I think I know what you were talking about, but the details for the transaction. Maybe not.
And now details, right?
Yeah. So this will probably need some kind of scrolling, but.
This way, but there are no like pagination here, so I don't think it'll be a problem. And then when I close it, there's also this request history in receive, which is just a list.
Yeah. A little weird with the icon for it. Maybe it needs to be inverted or something.
The icon.
It. Yeah. On the left, it's pointing down.
It's a kind of subject. I see both patterns.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I prefer this pointing down, but
Okay.
yeah, I get what you mean. Like depending how you kind of
Yeah,
feel.
no, I
Yeah.
could. I see. The arrow down kind of implies it's underneath.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could also just be kind of a button, without an icon, and could just say show
Yeah,
request history
with
or
that,
something
but
like that.
the icon does make it clear that it's interactable. So
Yeah.
so
I
that's
would
for
keep
sure.
the icon. It's either icon or a proper button, but the proper button would kind of compete with this continue
Yeah.
button, which is
Okay.
not ideal. All right.
Now,
Yeah.
what's the difference between that and the three dots?
So it's not prototype, but 3 dots.
Hang on, maybe I'll let's go to the. Hang on, I'll share my screen with the kind of more detailed thing. Share screen window. All right, here and I'll just paste the link into the chat here. Chat. Here we go. So something that we were discussing, and maybe I'll just hide the comments. Like this. So is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Cool. So there are basically, we display like 3 things here, but there are additional options, right? You can also currently in Qt, there's also the option to choose the address type or change it. And there are like a couple of, and we might add some in the future, right? If we think about silent payments or maybe tags or stuff like that. The question is, how do you access these? What is the default, and how do you access the rest? So one option would be to have this kind of ellipsis where you just select what type of which inputs that you want on the field on the form. But here's the challenge: you would somewhere you would have to display which address type you're currently using. So this is one thing to consider. Another option would be to just have this kind of also this accordion thing where you show and hide the additional ones. And for the MVP, since I didn't see any other options, we could just display all of it, and then you don't really need
My first thought is sort of like a filter's not that necessary. It doesn't feel like there's too much information here.
Yeah.
So these are the ones that I could find in that's currently in Qt. I don't know if there are any additional ones or things
I
that
see.
we
That's
were
from
thinking about.
previous app. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
we'll stick with
know.
this for MVP. I like that for now, and then if it feels like we need to re-add it, we can. But
yeah.
Or if like it might be the case that I'm there. It might be the case that there's too much. We'll see. I think we'll probably stick with the MVP.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't. So I'm not aware that there is anything else beyond this. So it's probably if it were to grow to like 6, 7 or more, then we would want to have some defaults and say, okay, users can choose to show and hide additional inputs or kind of fields. But yeah, we could probably go with this here, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. Yeah, so that's why it's under kind of variations for these additional options. Yeah, there are different states. It's empty, something is failed. This is something that I have to flesh out much further into more detail. And then you have the request history, where the idea was that if a payment has been received, we would show it similarly, like in the activity screen, and those that didn't receive anything yet would either have this kind of in-flight icon, or we could just have nothing at all, or something different indicating that this has not been paid yet or hasn't been used yet, this address. Yeah, and then there's also the same kind of pattern with the pagination, and yeah, and that there are different states for these request details, right? Because I don't need to, if I just hit continue here, I don't fill out anything. All these fields are optional. So if I don't add anything to my request, then I probably just see the address and the QR code and the sharing options, and the show more, like Jakub said, would show the details. I'm not sure if it makes sense to show a URI in that case at all, but yeah, that's something I need to figure out. And in case I have filled out some amount, and we show the amount, the QR code, and kind of stuff that has been changed or added explicitly, and the rest again is hidden here. And then there's kind of this, what do you do when you have received a payment, when that has basically been paid? So we probably should show that a payment has been received, and that you should not reuse this address here. Christoph made a comment that maybe we should, not show the request anymore and just say, this has been received. Or we could also just say, okay, here you have a payment, and then you can basically display the rest, the original request. So that's something that we need to discuss a bit more, what exactly we want to do here, in order not to encourage people to kind of reshare these payment requests, right? We probably would want to take away these the buttons, the sharing buttons, and these kinds of things. So that's something that would be great to get some feedback on, because you could, theoretically, you could also have multiple payments, right, on this address. So we would probably show them all, say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah, I kind of like
yeah,
that.
but this,
Yeah, I like that, because sometimes you end up needing to for various reasons. But
yeah, this is great. Reminder. I still, in that case, I probably don't use QR code. Just like here, or you can show the ad if you go up. Michael.
This guy here.
Yeah, so this also could work just without QR code then, right? Maybe.
Yeah, like
the QR code is address, or it's URI?
I would so I don't know, but I would expect if I didn't add any labels, any metadata or additional data, then it's maybe the address. I don't know. I don't know how it is.
I have also two kind of ideas. One, isn't the QR code too small a bit? Like harder to scan? I don't know. And the other is we could also maybe alternate in the address, each part alternate the color a bit. So make one part a bit more grayish. It helps a bit with just scanning the address. So
the Sparrow's QR codes are about that same size.
Okay.
Yeah. Here also, Christoph mentioned we could also just, on click, you could expand it to a
Mm-hmm.
larger size. And when you have the larger QR code, you could also have a larger version of the address there. So that's something that we can add on top.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I'm not aware, Jakob, if we have in the design guide. If we have, I have to check whether this color scheme, whether we have something in the guide, whether chunking is enough or
I think it is
not.
there. If not, I've seen it somewhere and I like this. For example, BitKit, for example, has this,
Yeah.
and I also use it in Albi now. I like this pattern with this alternating. It's a minor thing, but I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, Trezor has it in Trezor. You have the same color, and it's also very good. I mean, the chunking helps really a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's
chunking
the most helpful.
that should be a standard.
But yeah, I'll check the design guide. I didn't check it yet, to be honest.
Yeah, what are the blocks there? Is it 5, 5, then 4s?
Oh no, it should be 4 always. I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Okay. No, that's good then.
And the last two,
And-
the last part is shorter, right? Or 2, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
no. It's not even in a way that.
For Bitcoin amounts, when you have double-digit whole Bitcoin,
Oh yeah, that would move.
because that amount keeps coming up, and this is, and they'd all be solid, right? It'd all be white.
Yeah.
Is that how it's supposed to look?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it would be like that.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. I think, so this should also all be part of kind of the specs, and that's also going to go into the design docs, where basically the idea is, in general. So if it's you highlight the number that is below, or kind of you disemphasize the leading zeros. I think that's
yeah. No, it's really
use.
good for identifying how many
this.
sats you have.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it just gets weird when you have whole Bitcoin amounts. Then I don't know if the user cares about the decimal points anymore.
Yeah, we could consider just cutting the zeros at the end then.
Yeah, if it's whole Bitcoin, I think, because yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know how
No, I would probably don't.
I would just drop them almost. I
would also drop them.
But I don't know. It seems like a significant change, but I also think
then you could have something like this, and this would
I don't know
weird,
though, because
this is a bit weird.
Yeah. It's weird, but maybe we keep it all and just the reason I bring that up is because trying to understand the fixed length of these fields, to know if how dynamic they need to be.
Right.
We need to do maximum. So send 21 million Bitcoin.
20, yeah.
up to 1 Satoshi, right?
So this is for receiving. So at least you don't send 21 million. But it's
well, this that sort of thing applies throughout the application, including the top left corner that's there always, with their wallet amount.
For the handoff, we're gonna try all of these edge cases. So we're gonna find a way to make it easy to implement.
Yeah, my implementation just was to make it all solid, but still have the fixed units for now. But it's a little odd. I just don't know exactly what feels right yet.
All right. One more thing that we were kind of going a bit back and forth is what are the additional options here? If we have any, like, I mean, or editing labels or hiding. So that's basically stuff that I just made up. I don't know whether there are any, what you guys think, what should go here? If there's something missing, if there's something that's been requested by people a lot. So that's something to figure out the exact options here, whether we need any additional ones.
If you hide the request, is there a way to show it again?
I don't know.
That's a tricky
It's just,
part.
I mean, yeah, there should probably be, but why would you do it? I mean, but it's just the only thing or one of the only thing that I could reason about, because you don't want to have it like you want to minimize reuse, so you might you might even automatically delete anything that has been paid from the request history, right? So to minimize this, but that's needs some more thought. So yeah, go ahead in here and have a look at it. I was also we had some some ideas where the layout and the design is outdated, but kind of how do you display silent payments and stuff? But if we go, I mean, probably it would be just a different address type here, and that's that. But this is something for the future. So I kind of put it to the side here. And there was the idea of kind of tags to organize transactions so that I could basically, for myself, add payment tags so that I can filter the activity list afterwards. So these are kind of some future ideas, but they're called it potential future scope. So it's just so you know that it's there. Yeah, and that's that. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Do you want to go? Do you want to show the test transaction flow?
Not yet.
Okay.
I didn't make too much progress, and it's for the send screen, and it's not really thought through yet, I think. So that's something that I can show next week.
Okay, cool.
I'll have a much better grasp on it, and but it could be a cool feature for the send flow.
Okay, so now if we're all good with the prototype and this design, I think it's nice. So we can start testing in Michael, right? And we need to preferably test it. I know 5 people, 6. We can take 3 each, maybe. I can also do maybe more if you don't have time. Or if you don't have any time, I can also do 6. And like half would be someone who used core, and maybe half would be someone who like beginner users without core experience, or preferably even without on-chain experience, maybe, or like too much on-chain experience. And then, yeah, I was wondering how we can recruit them. I'll just post on Nostr who wants to who wants to jump on the call. Yeah,
right.
And like don't over engineer recruiting, and like we could come up with a screening form or something. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah, I
just
think
ask
we can.
password or...
Yeah, we can probably coordinate this over Discord and stuff, because
Yeah.
probably ideally it's something, if we have a form or a screener stuff like that, it would be cool if it would be reusable, right, for the future. You're mute.
Oh, but you heard me a few minutes ago.
Yeah, before, yes, but now your
Oh,
answer didn't hear.
interesting. I muted. Like I didn't click anything and got muted. Anyway, we can make a form that is kind of general, and that hopefully, if more people sign up, that we can contact them for the next flow, right?
Yeah.
For the future tests. So yeah, so we can have this. We can gather this kind of database of contacts and just contact them later.
Cool. Yeah, let's coordinate. We can coordinate this.
Yeah, outside. Yeah.
Over Discord.
Cool. Anything else you guys have? Yeah, sure. If you have something to share or like discuss.
I had one question. On the
Go.
receive screen, when you click on receive, first you need to add like set amount and then click on the add label or something and then click on continue. Then the QR appears. Is there a particular reason why the QR does not appear on the first screen, like when you click on receive?
Yeah, so the reason is it's not, I mean, in that way, we kind of want to encourage users to use labels and at least labels.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of friction that has a purpose in a way.
If it's purposeful
And
that
it's
you
all-
want people to use more labels, then yeah, makes sense. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
And it's all optional, right? You don't have to input anything.
Yes,
You can
yes.
just hit the continue button and be done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the
Hey
question.
guys.
Like,
Yeah. I think that was a great question. Hey guys, Jakub, Michael.
Hey.
Hey, things are looking good. It's looking like things are going forward. I love the testing ideas that you guys have. Awesome to see that. Just want to quickly comment on Paper Psych's question and the answer. I think when you add the label and the message, the QR code changes because it shows the URI. I think that's why we are not showing the QR code like right away.
I mean, it can be
Also,
updated,
yeah,
right? When you click on
yes,
message or something, it can update on that spot also, if it's not creating a different flow or confusion that the QR has updated.
yeah. I think that is a good point. Also, I think what this current user flow is doing is that it is kind of like it is basically identical to the flow that we have in the existing application. In the existing application, if I'm not wrong, guys, when you like try to receive Bitcoin, like you have those three fields at the top, and then you have I think that's the existing UI as well, and I think we
Got
are
it. Got it.
we are kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's exactly the same.
And it's also, if you would have the QR code on this screen already and you navigate to send or activity and you come back, it's just more deliberate if you have a continue button, right? Because then it you know when to generate a new address, and otherwise you go back and forth. You may have the same the same address. You would need some kind of sharing option next to the QR on this screen already. So it's it keeps it more simple and more deliberate if you kind of break it apart in two steps.
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Johnny,
Yeah, so
anything
I
else?
think last things. Wait, guys. If you guys want somebody to test something, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, same here. I would be happy to test it. I have not used the core app. I will be on the newbie end.
Yeah, nothing from my end. This all looks really good, actually. Um, so, looking forward to getting
Cool.
there.
Yes, yeah. If you guys want to test, we can share. We can split. We can maybe test more than 5 then. Although
Yeah.
more than 6, 7, it's not needed.
Yeah, but those two now are spoiled, right? They know the rationale and the reasoning behind the screens.
No, I
The
thought
question is,
test as a conducting test. That's how I understood.
that
I don't know if you wanted to test as a user or
Oh,
test as a facilitator.
yeah. I mean, either way, like I'm not sure what you mean, Jacob.
You guys
so
want
the question was,
you guys
would
said
you
you
be
want. Yeah, yeah.
if whether you would want to be a participant in the test or a moderator? That was the
Uh,
question.
I mean, either of these works for me. I can share it on my Twitter or whatever. We can also just like DM it to a few people and then pressurizing them into doing it. We know a few people on Twitter and like in other places. So yeah, I mean, I could do either.
Okay, so we can share it. We can just share prototype and like ask people to do it, but we want like a proper test where you jump on a call with someone. We don't need to record it, I think, but
Okay.
you guide user, you
Yeah.
say the scenario of the
Mhm.
situation, and then just observe what they do. Maybe you can ask some questions, and it's probably enough to just do live notes. Live
Mhm.
notes, what's
Yeah.
happening, or even just after. But probably it's better doing. So if you want, you can do
Yeah.
this. So you can jump on a call and test someone. You can also, if you don't want to do this, you can also just share or send a prototype to people and just
Yeah.
ask for feedback. That's also fine. But still, I'll do at
Yeah.
least five
I'm happy
tests
to do
for
either.
real.
Yeah, I am happy to do either. I think if I can. Also, I think Paper Psych, you are in India and you guys have a captive space where you have a lot of people, right? I think
Yeah,
it might be pretty like easy for you to like interview like even 5 people in person if I'm not wrong, right?
yeah, I can get that done.
I, I think it's going to be much easier for him to get 5 for sure. But I could also like if you guys like if you guys get participants but just need somebody to interview people, I am happy to do that. I'm also happy to DM a few people and see if they're interested in testing this. And if they agree, I'm happy to jump on a call and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take this on Discord. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
post an instruction how to do tests, and then we will create a form, and then we'll see how many people we have. Yeah, but I said it's only 5 to 7 tests, and they will not take more than half an hour each, I think.
Mhm. Yeah,
So it'll be
and these
quite
tests will be only for the send and receive thing, right? Not the onboarding,
no
not
activity and receive
yeah. Okay.
without sending.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Yash, you joined a bit later, so maybe just after the Jakub was walked through the prototype in the first, I think, 15 minutes or so, 10 minutes. So it's a quite a short prototype. It's not. I think it's at maximum 30 minutes. I would expect.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we'll upload the recording on YouTube, so then you can just watch when I went through it.
Mhm. Okay. Awesome.
All right,
Awesome. Anything else you have, guys, or should we end earlier?
wrap it up.
All right, so I'm gonna stop recording.